Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the show tonight, we'll be talking about the Ukraine crisis, of course, what's currently going on, especially as it's affecting our sporting activities. For instance, Formula One, they would have loved to have 23 races this year, but because of the crisis, they will be having 22. Last year, it was 22. 2020, it was 17, of course, because of the pandemic. But this time around, the reason why it is 22 is because of the crisis, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So they've cancelled the Russia Grand Prix that's supposed to take place in Sochi. Also, we'll be talking about the League Cup. Liverpool and Chelsea will be in action this weekend. And of course, we'll touch down with the Nigeria Triathlon Union. They had the election on Thursday. Of course, we have most of the executives are returning, usually with the president returning on the post. Also on the program, yes, we'll be talking about match day 15 of the Nigeria Professional Football League, and NNL will also get our attention. Of course, Austin Okonakwan will be joining me on the show, and we'll also be having Alfred Okeligo also joining me on the program this evening. But first of all, let's talk about what's going on with UEFA concerning the Champions League. Yesterday, we reported that they will be having a meeting today to decide where the Champions League final will be played. So right now, the Champions League final had been moved to Paris from St. Petersburg, where it was supposed to be held on May the 28th. But right now, it's going to be in Paris. And of course, a lot of reactions are coming from them because coaches and players really support what UEFA has done. I think Austin is ready to join me now live from our London studio. Austin?
You, Cecilia, good to be on the show. Greetings to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Yes, Cecilia is still all about ways that we can stop this conflict in Ukraine, and sports persons are not stopping. They are taking a look at the situation. We'll be talking to someone who is right there in Kiev. I will tell you authoritatively that the Klitschko brothers, they're part of it. They are going to war. And then we got this decision from the UEFA Executive Committee. And a lot of football fans have come out to say this is laudable, stand against whatever is happening in Ukraine. St. Petersburg, that's a beautiful stadium, by the way. They were looking forward to hosting the UEFA Champions League final. I remember Nigeria played Argentina there at the World Cup in 2018. Yes. I was right there at that stadium. But because of everything that is happening now, the UEFA Champions League final has been moved to Paris. So Cecilia will continue to monitor this situation and see ways that, as I said yesterday, that sports can be used, to stop what's going on between Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for. And of course, so many managers and players are really in support of what UEFA have done. They didn't need to wait for so long. They decided to make the decision so fast and quick. And we'll get reaction coming from Thomas Tuchel, that is the coach of Chelsea, actually praising UEFA for quickly, moving the UEFA Champions League final from St. Petersburg to Paris.
Sadly, I think it's the worst reason to change a location, the absolutely worst reason. We feel horrible about it in general. It clouds our minds and it clouds our focus, of course, and we can absolutely understand the decision. In the moment, actually, we don't think so much about it. It's nice that you mentioned it, and it's nice that it was like this the last 2 times. It was the last 2 times because of Corona. So, and we thought already that this is not good news because of Corona. So now we have even worse news, and there are like things more important, and the focus from us in general on sportive and globally speaking is at the moment not at the final.
Obviously, it's something they're happy about because no one wants to go and play a game where you are not even safe because of what's currently going on, the conflict and everything. But then there's not just moving of the UEFA Champions League. You have so many clubs actually, cancelling, withdrawing the deals they already have with different Russia. This time around, it has to do with Manchester United. We've actually withdrawn the Russian airline Aeroflot sponsorship rights simply because of the invasion of Ukraine, according to them. I mean, is in light of this that they are sharing their concerns with fans around the world and, of course, also extending their sympathies to those affected. That's according to the club chairman. Now, United actually made Aeroflot their first Russian sponsor. That was in 2013 when it became the club's airline partner, replacing the Turkish airline that they had before. But because of this crisis, they've actually had to withdraw that sponsorship right. Of course, yes, money will be lost, but then they just want to sympathize with those that have been affected by the war in Ukraine. Austin, we know clubs are not, smiling. They are not happy. Even if it's going to cost them a whole lot, they understand what it is. They just want peace to reign. And that's why most of these clubs are taking this decision. Yesterday, it was all about Schalke 04. But right now, it's Manchester United, taking this bold step to tell the world that, look, they're not in support of what's going on in Russia.
I totally agree with all of these clubs who are standing in solidarity with Ukraine. It's very important. As I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. Sports can be used as a tool for unity. Sports has been used severally to, unify countries. So this is their own way of saying, look, we are not in support of what is happening with the Ukraine invasion, So, yes, you mentioned that they're going to lose money, but they're passing a vital message saying that, look, what price can we pay for peace when we can all just easily live as one? We can all just easily get along, So shout out to Manchester United, shout out to Schalke 04, shout out to teams that were supposed to, do one or two things this period and are saying, look, we cannot act like everything is fine in the world, An attack on one is an attack on all, particularly when we've built it together to make this world a better place. So I totally stand with these clubs also and say if these are the things they need to do to pass a strong message that the conflict between Ukraine and Russia should stop, then they're doing the right thing, Cecilia.
And of course, that's what we'll all be hoping for. Of course, Austin will be talking with Wahab Owolabi, Arsenal football fan who is based in Ukraine. What's currently going on? I mean, it's a whole lot for fans, especially because after the announcement was made concerning the fact that St. Petersburg will not be hosting the UEFA Champions League final, the fans were really not happy. They were really sad because they really want to see top players. They want to watch football, but right now, because of the crisis, they won't have that opportunity. So Wolabi will be joining us. He's in Kyiv to tell us more what's currently going on and how the fans are feeling, especially with the fact that with this current situation. I know football is not what they're thinking about now. Wolabi, good evening. It's good to have you join us.
Good evening, madam. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Okon.
Good to have you around.
All right, thank you very much.
So tell us, what's the current situation now? I hope you're safe right there.
Yeah, I'm safe presently. I've not heard of any blast this morning, unlike yesterday where the pressure was high and other stuff where people were running around. People were going to Lviv and trying to get into Poland. But with the fact that I have with me now, my friends that are in Lviv now are still stuck. They are not allowed to enter Poland and saying they are only allowing children and women to enter. So they're sending the men back to fight for Ukraine and citizens to fight for Ukraine, but they're not allowing my African brothers to go into Poland borders.
Wahab, let's talk about what this means to sports, particularly in Ukraine and all over the world. You're an Arsenal fan, and I'm sure when you got into Ukraine, you were beginning to pick interest with their football and sports. With this conflict now, it means there's a stop to that, and you know that football is a powerful tool. If you look at it from a sporting fan perspective, how can we use football to stop all of this, nonsense going on in Ukraine?
Yeah, because actually there was supposed to be under 19 league match yesterday at Ukraine. The match had to be postponed to further notice. Then this Shakhtar Donetsk, they can play to the next 30 days or even more than, depending on the outcome of what is going on presently. And I must commend, I really appreciate Manchester United for their step in trying to disconnect themselves from Russia and stuff like that. Also with Schalke 04 trying to change the logo on the shirt and changing it back to Schalke 04 instead of the Gazprom stuff. And also this month, the mayor of Kyiv Basically, Klitschko having to be at the war zone, trying to protect his country and other stuff. Also, Barcelona and Napoli having to carry the placard like no to war, stuff like that. So I think it's when sport comes in, because I was watching an interview with the Putin Gianni Infantino, and he was asked a question and he tried to dodge the question about his closeness with Putin and stuff like that. But hopefully things go on well. At least we've been hearing that there are some negotiations going on, but hopefully things just go on well.
Really pray that things go on well, and I hope you keep safe too. Before we let you go, is there anything you want to say to us, updates that we can follow, particularly for our Nigerian viewers?
Yeah, just keep praying for us, and we are going to be safe by God's grace. That's just what we can say for now, because we are not getting the information we need. We only depend on Twitter to get vital information, and so we'll be glad if people can pray for us.
What's the support like for the Klitschko brothers, because they command so much respect? You mentioned that they're going to war. Is the country standing by them? Are sport fans in the country also giving them the sort of support that they need?
Yeah. I think for me to see Vital Klitschko at the war zone, definitely it's actually a very bold step for someone of such caliber having to stand for his country. And yeah, I think it's going to motivate other people to do the same thing, and it's giving us the confidence that, okay, at least there's been something circulating now about the ghost of Kiev. I don't know if you've been following, and it's giving us some boost, like, okay, we are safe and stuff like that. So that's just it.
Yeah. All right. We must say thank you so much, Wahab, for joining us on the show. Please stay safe. And I hope that we can use sports to bring peace to Ukraine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's it. Arsenal football fan right there in Kiev, Ukraine, Wahab, talking to us. Now, Cecilia, I struggled to get questions, for Wahab. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard really to start asking some questions, especially when you're not even sure if you're safe. I'm happy that he's safe, he's sound, he's able to talk to us, because I know there's some people who can't even, who don't even know what's going to happen next. And of course, they're all afraid and everything. We're happy that, just earlier today, we heard the story that there's going to be talks. Russia and Ukraine have agreed that they will be talking in Belarus. Hopefully, they can, sit down and talk, and then we'll have a ceasefire. And that's why FIFA President Gianni Infantino has been talking about, the rapid cessation of all the hostilities that's currently going on in Ukraine. Because, Austin, we all know that once the crisis continues, Ukraine, Russia happens to be these big countries, they're a sporting nation, and clubs won't be able to play football. And of course, for Russia already, they're reaping it. The fans are really not happy that they won't have the opportunity to see the UEFA Champions League final, which most of them have been preparing for a long time. So it's a whole lot, and that's why FIFA president is talking about this, because he feels that, they need to stop this, because the use of force is not the right way to go, especially when you want to send across a particular message. There's so many clubs right now. You still have one Russian club that is playing in Europa League. They will be playing in a neutral venue simply because of this situation. But then Russia is supposed to host the semi-finals of the World Cup playoffs, March 24th. So this right now, it's obviously not going to go ahead simply because of what is going on, because the FIFA said they will try as much as possible to make a decision on that. So we haven't heard any decision from FIFA yet, because Poland, Sweden, Czech Republic, jointly, they've said that they should not allow Russia to host that World Cup qualifiers for next month. So we're waiting on FIFA to make a decision on that one.
And it goes even beyond FIFA or those countries that you mentioned. Listen to a fan like Wahab Owolabi is saying to Gianni Infantino that we need to be sincere about this call for peace, and if we're putting sanctions out to Russia, they must feel it. People should see your body language as real, and then that we're not, in any way trying to take sides. That's from a football fan. In fact, when Olabi had a chat with me, Cecilia, I said, Austin, call on top stars. Let them stand against what's going on in Ukraine, because we believe that sports can actually, play a role. Yeah. And I want to use this to call on other international federations. It's not just about football. Boxing should step up. Volleyball should step up. Athletics should step up. People should stand up and speak against what's happening right there in Ukraine. Because when everybody comes together and speak with one voice and have a unity of purpose, which is bringing peace to the region between Russia and Ukraine, then that message will hit home and then we'll begin to have the impact. So let's listen to FIFA talking about all of this conflict and the need for peace.
FIFA expresses hope for a rapid cessation of hostilities and for peace in Ukraine. FIFA condemns as well the use of force by Russia in Ukraine and any type of violence to resolve conflicts. Any type of violence. Because violence is never a solution. And therefore, we call on all parties to restore peace through constructive dialogue. And of course, FIFA continues to express our solidarity to the people affected by this conflict. Regarding the football matters in both Ukraine and Russia, we continue to monitor the situation, and we will communicate updates with regard in particular the upcoming FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 qualifiers soon.
So that's it. FIFA standing in solidarity with Ukraine and calling for peace. And Cecilia, I think we need to get more of these. And I just called on other sports and Formula One also. They're taking a big step saying, look, 2022 Russian Grand Prix off.
Of course, I mean, they're not smiling at all. Yesterday when we were talking about insinuating that it might just happen, and then they made that decision today. And most of the drivers are really in support of what Formula One have decided to do, despite the fact that, yes, they wanted 23 races this year. They won 23 calendar year, but then the Russian Grand Prix would not be hosting. It was supposed to be at the Sochi's Olympic Park, September 25th. That's when it was supposed to be held. But right now, because, of course, the Russian launching all-out invasion in Ukraine, by land, sea, or air, everything on Thursday, and that's why they've cancelled the Formula One. And one of such drivers happened to be Valtteri Bottas. He feels that all the drivers are in support of this decision because he feels that they hope everything can be resolved soon. And even if it's resolved soon, but the fact that it's going to be in September, for F1 to come out to say, as at now, they will not be having that Grand Prix. It wasn't moved, it was just cancelled totally. And so Russian Grand Prix actually made its debut 2014 on the calendar year, but then it was actually outside St. Petersburg from its current Sochi Park. So next, Penny, well, let's just take a listen to Valtteri Bottas talking about this.
You know, innocent people losing their lives, you know, people losing their homes and families and don't have safe places to live in. It's not right, but all we can hope that everything gets resolved in the best possible outcome and way that is possible. And for now, I think it's the right decision by Formula One not to go to Russia. It's so hard to predict the future, what it's going to be in a few months. So definitely, I'm pretty sure that all the drivers agree with that decision.
Yeah, supporting that decision, which is really key. We're happy that all the drivers are coming together. You know, Austin, you mentioned that it's not just football. Every other sport will take a cue.
Yeah.
Now, the Formula One, the Russia Grand Prix will be in September, right? They've already made the decision easy. But then you're going to be having the World Cup qualifiers, Russia and Poland, on the 24th of March. And FIFA says they're actually monitoring the situation. Now I understand why Wahab Wallaby was really worried about this, thinking, I mean, FIFA should be the first to actually come out so that other sports will follow. Because, of course, football, no matter what you say, is the king of all sports. So if you're coming out to say this is it, then everyone will follow suit. So if March 24th game is still not decided, then you have a lot of questions to ask concerning that, because FIFA monitoring situations, hoping that, well, the talks they've agreed to have might just go ahead. But no matter what it is, what I think by now we should know, I mean, Poland should know where they will be playing, because any of the teams that will qualify from that, there's also Sweden, waiting in the works, and also Czech Republic also waiting there. So, I mean, these, most times countries just want to know where they are playing the next match. It helps them a whole lot. But when you're not sure, because of crisis, it's really a big headache for the organizers, those who want to organize the games.
I understand that this is also a very difficult, period for FIFA, but it is what it is. Now there's conflict in Ukraine. They must take a stance. They must come out and, say things that will be in favor of, not just the sport, but for followers of the sport also. Because if you listen to Wahab, for instance, he's already having doubts about the sincerity of FIFA, particularly from that statement Gianni Infantino made. But let's monitor the situation, Cecilia, and hopefully this crisis will stop and then everything will get back to normal and they can now use football or sports to sustain whatever peace they're able to achieve. It's Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Cecilia, let's run on a quick break now. When we come back, what's going on in the Nigeria Professional Football League? We'll talk about it, so don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back to Sports Tonight on your award-winning sports-loving Channels Television. We are taking a look at what's going on in our world of sports, but we also have our eyes fixed on the crisis going on in Ukraine. And we are still confident, hopeful, believing that sports can play a major role in restoring peace to that region. So, Cecilia, while we wait for Alfred Okoligwe to join the conversation, it's time to talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League. And after match day 15, it seems like some teams are beginning to make a proper statement. Plateau United, Rivers United, teams that you cannot blink or take your eyes off. Let's quickly run through match day 15, our fixtures, and then we'll talk about it. Rivers United will take on Nasarawa United. Rangers will host Kano Pillars. It's Abia Warriors versus Shooting Stars. While Remo Stars, whether you like it or not, they are still doing so well for their level. They will take on Katsina United.
Other games that you have Heartland and Enyimba International will be in action. Dakada and Lobi Stars will also be in action. And of course, all the games for Sunday. These are the games for Saturday. For the games on Sunday, Plateau United and Aqua United will be in action on Sunday. You also have Kwara United and Niger Tornadoes, MFM and Sunshine Stars, Wiki Tourist and Gombe United. For Plateau United, they went to Gombe to pick up a point, and of course, they are second on the table after 14 games. But then Aqua United will come visit it. Remember, since Kennedy Boboye left Aqua United, they haven't lost a game. And the draws they were having at home, they've converted it to wins and also even picking a win away from home. So Aqua United is rising. But then for Plateau United, well, with what Rivers have done, I don't know if they will be able to go top. But Rivers right now are topping, and Rivers also have a better goal difference, which is 15. And then that's more like a plus for Rivers United. Austin, there's so many games, on match day 15 for Nigeria Professional Football League. But then I know the one that is really big for me is Plateau United and Aqua United. You're laughing, right? You know the reason for that, because they are the league champions. So when you're playing...
I thought you were about to throw shades at me for Aqua United.
No.
The other guy is doing a lot. So that was why I was laughing. But thank you so much for not doing that. And yes, I agree with you. That's that's a match to look forward to. You know, it's second versus fifth on the table. You mentioned since Coach Kennedy Boboye left, it's like these players, I don't understand. Maybe when you tell a coach leave, they just come to their senses. United since Coach Boboye left. So let's see. Good, big test for them when they go to Jos, because Plateau United, they are making a big statement this season. If you see where they are on the table, Cecilia, second with 28 points.
Yes.
They have lost 4 matches and they are second on the log. Rivers United, they've lost just 1, but they've drawn 5. Plateau United, they've drawn just 1. Let me also let you know that they've recorded the most wins so far in the league. 9 wins. Rivers United are on top, but they've recorded just 8 wins. So it tells you that Plateau United, they are doing something right under Coach Fidelis Ilechukwu, you know, and going away to Gombe to pick that vital point is also good for them. Aqua United, they've won just 6 out of 14. They've drawn 5 and they've lost 3. So you see that the defending champions are struggling. It is in this sort of match that you can actually show if you mean business this season. So let's see what they can go do in Jos, and then we can, you know, continue to talk about it. Let's welcome Alfred Okoligwe. He joins us now on the program. Alfred, good to have you on Sports Tonight. Okay, Alfred.
A very good evening to you. Sorry, I had that muted earlier. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. And of course, you were talking about Aqua United when I joined. Yeah, Coach Ali Jolomi. I met him when Aqua United played Remo Stars in the and he said, look, nothing has changed in the club. It's still the same coaching setup. He's the assistant coach and is with one of the national teams, I think under 20 as an assistant coach. And he said, look, I just asked the boys to do what we've been doing. Only this time, I want them to be more consistent in what they are doing. And they've really repaid the confidence he has given the boys. I saw them play against Ramos, and I thought they were a very, very different, effective side. They just went on the offensive from the first half to the second half. They got a winner in that game, and they just kept at it. So Ali Jolomi is the new man in charge of Aqua United. Hopefully, they will get this right. But I look, it's like since Kennedy Boboye left, Aqua United have not lost a game, and against Plateau United, this is a statement-making match. That match against Plateau United, because Plateau themselves just showed everybody their intent this season. All of a sudden, Kennedy, Fidelis Ilechukwu came there, basically with the same set of players. Only Austin Obara, who was with him. Austin Obara was with him in MFM, eventually went to Enyimba, but didn't find his feet, but now has joined Plateau United. I saw his name on the team sheet. That was when MFM was the real deal. He was the man in the central defense of MFM. So he's with Plateau United. So it's just about the same set of players. The Akila, what's his name? My very good friend who puts on, the only outfield player that puts on jersey number 1. He plays in Plateau United, Charles Henlon, the captain. I mean, these are players who want to make a statement. I think Plateau United has what it takes. And the LMC announced some sanctions and they were mentioned in it. So, but it is what it is. The league is. I'm enjoying every bit of the competition they are putting out there.
Before I get Cecilia talking, Cecilia, let me just give Alfred and our viewers one important information that they can use. Coach Jolomi Alfred is a product from the Channel's International Kids Cup. He was a coach with Team Delta in 2012 and was with the competition till about 2015 to 2016. So we're super proud that a product from the league is now a top flight coach out there. The grassroots. We always talk about it. Very important.
Yeah, that's where it starts from, and that's where you discover them, and that's where they actually hone their skills for major competitions, especially with MPFL. So he's now a top flight coach from just where he started in 2012. How many years after? That's a great one, Austin. Also, you were talking about Fidelis Ilechukwu, of course. Since he left MFM, they've never been the same again. Now, they would be hosting Sunshine Stars in Lagos. And if you check the position they're in, at the bottom of the table, we could have thought that this time MFM will still be there 14 games, 11 points. So poor. How can they get a point off Sunshine Stars? Because they need all 3 points to climb out of that bottom that they are currently in right now. Alfred?
Tough, Cecilia. I really don't know what MFM, need to do. They were in this same situation last season, but I don't think it was this bad.
Yeah, it wasn't
Sunshine
this bad.
Sunshine Stars. Remember, Alfred can go way back to also remember. I think Sunshine Stars went 13 games without winning and picked themselves back up. So for both teams, match day 15 will mean more than playing a football match.
Yeah.
It will show their intent to stay in the league. And Alfred, when you look at Sunshine Stars, they are 8th on the log. And look at MFM, bottom on the log. For Sunshine Stars, I'm sure they learned their lessons from last season. I'm not sure MFM did.
Well, Coach Dejayeni has since made Sunshine Stars one of the very exciting teams to watch. Very difficult to beat by a goal to nil. If you want to score, they score at least a double. Only a few days back when they played, I think Wednesday, a player stepped up and got a brace in that game. I saw them play Lobby Stars. That game was supposed to be played for 90 minutes. Hey, for the life of me, ended as a contest in the first half because they scored 3 goals in only about 21 minutes. So they are one of the exciting sides in the league. Even the games they lost away, they lost on the road. They held on for Lagos. So the Sunshine Stars team that went on to go like 13 games without a win under Coach that Sunshine Stars has since changed. I think Coach Tejayeni is doing some fantastic job, a decent job with Sunshine Stars. But coming to MFM, since MFM changed the coaching crew, there's a certain young man. I think I stand to be corrected. I'll check my record. He is the youngest coach of an NPFL side. Last time I inquired, he's Coach Ortega. That's what they call him. And I recall interviewing him before they went for the match against him. I said, look, since I came in, we've not lost a game. We drew against Aqua United at home. We went away. Yes, it was difficult. Against Enyimba, Enyimba will be panicking that he's sure that he's going to get the result against Enyimba, and they did that. Their last home game was a win. So MFM seem to have turned the corner. They are in the state where they, bottom of the league, because another team that is supposed to be struggling with them at that position, Heartland of Owerri. The governor, we heard that the governor paid the players, and the players are picked up. Heartland have gone like 4 games now without a loss, starting with that draw, where Coach Femi Thomas saved 2 penalties in Uyo.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I think we're losing Alfred there. We'll just leave the NPFL and quickly go to...
Against them, not getting the...
All right, Alfred, we'll just leave NPFL and quickly go to NNL, Nigeria National League games that will be played this weekend. We're starting with Group A1. Usually that's the Northern Conference. There's so many games that we played this weekend in Nigeria National League. Starting with that ABS and Zamfara United, you also have the game between Yobe Desert Stars and Sokoto United, City FC and Oyo Sport International, Academy Warriors and Mighty Jets will also be in action in Group A1 from the Northern Conference. A2, you have NAF and Kogi United, DMD and Road Safety, Green Beret and Kebbi United, Jigawa Golden Stars and Doma United, JM Liberty and Adamawa United will also be in action. Moving on to Group B1, where you have the likes of Ikorodu City and Benda Insurance. There will be trading tackles right here in Lagos. Gateway United and Vandreza, Ocean United and Giant Grillers, JR Tete and Ibom Youth, Abeokuta Stormers and Campus FC will also be in action. For B2, and these are the games for B2, you have Ijebu United and Otasolo FC. You have Inewi and Rovers, Silejo and Go Round. Warri Wolves and Bayelsa United, Apes Crane and Abia Comets will also be in action. Match day 3 of the Nigeria National League. Yes, big games. I know the focus, of course, Alfred, if I want to ask you, will be Ikorodu City and Benda Insurance that will be in Lagos.
Yes, insurance will visit Lagos. They're in Lagos presently. In only 2 weeks after they came here and drew against Van Velza, they will pass their chances. The social media was awash with insurance players disembarking from the plane and the short trip, 30 minutes flight from Benin to. I mean, like, hey, this guy is mean business. They really want their players to work a lot, and they're making, they've given it all they've got, and I think it's good for the club as one of the traditional teams in the MPFL. A lot of us will want them to come back in the league, and they are doing a wonderful job of it. If they get a win against Ikorodu, it will be a fantastic result. But Ikorodu City is still looking for their first win. It's going to be a tough game.
Okay, so that's it. But I'm looking forward to Warri Wolves match. Bayelsa United, Cecilia. 3 seasons ago, back in the day, that's a proper MPFL fixture.
Of course.
But it goes to tell you that if you don't do your work, you'll go down there. So I'm looking forward to that one also in the NNL. And Cecilia, you didn't get to say it's the most important league in the country. I was waiting. Okay, let's put a pause on the NNL. Continue to monitor it and talk about the Beach Soccer League. We told you that the main business, the guys were putting this together, and we're super excited that it's all about the development of beach soccer in Nigeria. Let's take a look at day 3 results. Kada and Smart City, 4-3 in favor of Kada. Badagry lost to Kogi 3-1. Igbobo Kingdom defeated Kelma Galaxy by 6-2. It's beach soccer in Nigeria, and we've got the talent, and the teams are beginning to show quality, particularly the debutants. Kirby, beach soccer, the big boys, they're top of the Group A table with 8 points. They beat Kogi by 6-3. Kelma Galaxy 4-1 against Niger. Kwara Beach Soccer Club defeated Manko Patagi by 4-0. Now let's take a look at the fixtures for tomorrow, and then we'll get Alfred talking, and then you'll know that tomorrow it will be big day. It's also the final day for round 1 in the Beach Soccer League. Smart City Beach Soccer Club will take on Niger. Badagry Warriors will take on Kebi, while Kogi will take on Manko Patagi. Wait for the next one, and that's the one that will really get you talking. Kada will take on Igbobo Kingdom. Kelma Galaxy will take on Smart City, and look at that fixture. The best for the last. Kebi Beach Soccer Club against Kwara Beach Soccer Club. The table toppers from Group A and that of Group B. Alfred, I like this so much. Kebi Beach Soccer, yes, they've shown that they can play beach soccer, but now I think with what they are doing, the other teams in the league are beginning to catch up gradually.
I think they've shown leadership at some point when the states, or rather areas where you think will have comparative advantage when it comes to beach soccer are snoozing. Kebi just took it as a project, and I think they've done a fantastic job of it. And no wonder they have one of the best beach soccer teams in the country. But you know how this thing starts. You start small, and everybody just look at you and say, you know what? I'm going to be the champ. I'm going to be the man at the top, because it's easier to lose when you're at the top than when you're fighting together. So, and that's what we're seeing. And it's fantastic. I think a few years back, the NFF said, look, when it comes to beach soccer, we attend big competition. Let's just take a step back. Let this
and build. And this is how to build.
Grow organically. I think they've done it now. Now you have a pool of players, not when the African competition is coming or the World Cup competition, you drop players from the MPL to come play. Now we have people who play the beach soccer week in, week out. And from that pool, we can get a very, very strong team to represent us and represent us well.
This is happening in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, and tomorrow that big one will be happening in Cecilia.
Yeah, of course, hopefully. Well, let's see if we'll have a new champion this time around, because sometimes you just get tired of having one team. I mean, when you talk about beach soccer, Kada will obviously come to mind. Kada or Kebi. I mean, these are the teams who always watch it for. But I'm happy that they're facing each other. So obviously we're going to have one that will be champion at the end of the day. All right, we're leaving beach soccer and touch down what's currently going on in Nigeria Triathlon Union. Yes, triathlon, that's a sport that involves 3 different sports: cycling, swimming, and, of course, racing. And just on Thursday, they had their elective congress, where you have the president re-elected. I'm talking about Wale Oladunjoye Also, the vice president, the first vice president, second vice president is Bese and Toyin Aluko. Secretary General Comfort Owanko and Priscilla Ironachi also elected as a treasurer. Now, the thing about the triathlon union is that you have more like 80% of the electorate happens to be women. I mean, which IOC have been rooting, talking about this, the fact that they have to give women more chance to really be, among the board members. Just look at the election. I mean, it's all women, and Oladijoye happens to be the only one right there. After the election that was done on Thursday. Austin, I know you guys are smiling, but you know what? Before I get you guys talking, let's listen to the elected officials, what they intend to do, for the next 4 years, because they really want to grow the sport and make it more popular across the country.
All around Nigeria, so that the sports can feature at the National Sports Festival. And the first thing we need to do is to organize coaching clinics, maybe at the zonal level or for all the states of the federation. Try to get in touch with the international bodies for assistance, because the sports cannot thrive without funding, adequate funding. And when you look at triathlon, we are talking about 3 sports, even though the swimming aspect of it might not be a big deal, or the running aspect of it. But the big deal is the cycling aspect of it, because it's expensive to get a bicycle, correct bicycle. But that as it may, we can make do with whatever bicycles, that we have to spread the sport. For example, in Abuja now, I'm coordinating the northern zone. We had recently the first IGP triathlon competition. So the next thing we want to do now is to organize a secondary school triathlon competition in the FCT.
Yeah, right. You heard from the second vice president, talking about Toyin Aluko. I mean, how they intend to actually promote it, not just, at the grassroots level, but also in secondary schools, and the fact that you mentioned, even in northern Nigeria, Abuja, for instance, they're already taking that step to ensure that they grow those sports right there.
Cecilia, she also mentioned a fundamental problem with sports development in Nigeria, and that's funding. She said it's very important, particularly for this sort of sports. If you go out there now and you tell people what's a lot of people will struggle, so they need to do a lot in enlightening people about the sport, create more awareness, do programs, organize competitions. Shout out to Prince Wale Oladunjoye. I must give it up to him. He has done so much in promoting the sport. And this time around, he's surrounded with capable women. And I know you like that, so that's good representation. So these women, they will give him support, and hopefully they will develop the sport. And you never know. I keep saying Nigeria is too blessed. We have the numbers, we have the talent. We just need the right environment, and we'll start flying.
Yes, that right environment we will be talking about. But also, the pioneer president, Larry Glover, also has some advice, to give to the newly elected officials, how they intend, how he wants them to really run the federation well for everyone, to be part of it, not just the athletes, but also across board.
To be very innovative. There are challenges now. When I was president, we didn't have the challenges we have now. We have COVID, and one, the economy is very depressed. Two, facilities are no longer there. So the only thing is they've got to be innovative. They've got to run championships. That's the only way that they can use to promote their sport. I'm very happy. It was a very successful Congress, very peaceful. But they have to move on from there. When we ran triathlon, we had a big sponsor in BG, and we had many sponsors. Now the sponsors are not there, so again, they have to look for sponsors. They have to look for a way out. I think there is hope. They need to take the sports to the grassroots, and I think we have a crop of people who can do it. More significantly, there are far more women on the board of NTU triathlon than any other sport. The triathlon encourages women to take leadership positions, which is very good. I was happy to see that.
All right, happy to see that. I mean, Alfred is still here. Austin, I mean, you just listen to where they had to say organize more competitions. That also, you know, will help some of these athletes who wants to compete. And the fact that they need to make it as part of the National Sports Festival. International level is recognized, but National Sports Festival, well, they don't even think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, he reiterated the things I talked about. He said they just need to organize competitions, and I totally agree. Look, they just need to keep pushing. Triathlon is very big, particularly during the Olympics. I look forward to it because when you just see people competing in several events, it brings variety, and you know, we can actually get into that. Alfred, it's not so big and popular in Nigeria, but baby steps should be commended. Now they have inaugurated a new board, women everywhere. What should they do now to start getting the sort of followership that can make them start winning?
I mean, I think Dr. Larry Glover made that point of making sure you get to the grassroots, because that's where it all starts. If you don't have a large pool, to really pull from, growing the sport will be difficult. Because I can tell you for certain that sometimes when a new sport is introduced at a very young age, hey, people grow up and run with it. And for example, some of us that grew up in our primary secondary school, we were introduced to handball. It's one sport that I really like and I enjoy also. So I think the challenge of course, they are numerous. Lack of sponsorship, it's difficult putting things together now, given the kind of economy that we have. But then in itself, in those challenges are where the opportunities really lies in growing the sport. And I think the challenge is out there. Triathlon is not one of those very popular federations or one of those very popular, but I don't want to see a situation where this board is elected and in the next 4 years, when next year them is another round of election, it will be good. The challenge is huge. We know some federations in this country, we only hear them during elections. And after the elections, little or nothing is said about them. Everybody is struggling, to head or be in the board, just for international positions and the rest of them, without really doing the work. That work is growing the sport, introducing it at a very young age, getting people aware of the sport, and getting people to promote them.
Okay. All right, Alfred, thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. Thank you for your incisive analysis, as always.
Thank you very much for your time. My pleasure always.
All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a fantastic weekend.
I was going to ask Alfred the team that will win the AFL Cup, but we don't have the time, so I'll leave that to the viewers. Will it be Chelsea or Liverpool? In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.